Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny and I am a nature preschool teacher and a nature preschool consultant. I have been in the field for 8 years and I have loved every minute of being here, which I'm assuming you're trying to be in this field or you are already in this field. Being in this field is definitely something that my heart just like melts every day for, because I get to come into the classroom that's outdoors, be with children, explore, discover, and just be together and wonder about the natural world. And I know that's not for everybody. Being outdoors is not for everybody, but there are still ways that we can start bringing in nature into your indoor classroom, and I want to talk a little bit about why we want to do this in this video today. If you're new to my channel, then you probably don't know that I have a whole playlist devoted to nature preschools and what this looks like, how you teach outdoors, what different ways you can explore the natural world with children. So if you're interested in looking at those videos after this video, I will link the playlist below in the description box. Before we jump into this video and I give you all this amazing information about nature preschools and what this means, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own. This is a big part of teaching and practicing this work, and I just guess I am a type of person that likes to reflect a lot. So I want you to take a moment and either grab a journal and pause this video and write down your first memory of being outdoors, how that made you feel, what you were doing, who was around, and just write down that memory for yourself. Pause this video, go do that, and then we'll come back and share our ideas. So did you go out and explore your own reflection of who you are and why you started wanting to do this in the first place? I hope you did. If you did and you want to share those ideas with our community, go ahead and comment below what you thought about and what your first memory of being outdoors was. For me, my first ever memory of being outdoors that like really means something to me was we had a thicket, we called it, in our backyard where it was just a bunch of trees, and I remember spending so many hours out there with my siblings. My parents weren't near me, but I remember just spending that space and time and feeling an overwhelming sense of calm and feeling like I belong there. And I come back to that memory often because I think about why I want to do this work and why I started to do this work in the first place. When I went to college, I definitely wanted to be a teacher, but when I started taking classes, I was like, there's no way I want to stand in front of children and in a traditional way and teach at them. I felt more like I wanted to teach with them. I wanted to be a part of their learning instead of me dictating what they're going to learn about. So that's why I fell in love with nature preschools and nature-based teaching in general, because I could partner those two loves, children and developmentally appropriate practices, and the natural world. So that's why I ended up here, and I'm so excited that you're here too. I'm sure with your reflection, you also were guided to a place of why you want to bring children outdoors. And this is an important piece of your puzzle of why you want to be a teacher and why you want to be a teacher outdoors. We have to honor those memories to make sure that we are honoring us as teachers. So now that we know our why and why we want to do this work, let's jump into what nature preschools look like and how we can start thinking about our curriculum. A big part of what nature preschool teaching is all about is offering space for children to learn outdoors. So nature preschools oftentimes have an outdoor component or some sort of place that children can go outside and connect to nature. That is going to be a huge part of nature preschools, and what your practice is going to look like is spending some time outside. And I know that can feel really scary at the beginning, so if you need any support, know that I'm here to support you. Comment below and I am here to help you. Another big part of nature preschool teaching is scaffolding learning. So we're going to meet children where they're at and help support them to get to the next point, wherever that might be. We're not teaching at children and thinking that they all need to be at the same level every place or every time. In a nature preschool classroom, we're really thinking about each child as an individual and helping to support each child get to the next milestone, wherever that might be for that child. We also want to help support children in feeling confident in themselves and helping to support their independent skills. So in an outdoor classroom and a nature preschool classroom, you will see that the teachers spend a lot of time supporting children in learning how to take off their gear on their own. And you will see that teachers are there supporting children in risky play activities. Obviously, we're thinking all about the risk and helping to support children in taking healthy risks, And the last big part of a nature preschool curriculum is that nature takes a forefront in the teaching. So we spend a lot of time, like I mentioned, outdoors, and our curriculum is based on what we see in our place. So I'm not going to be teaching about the desert because right now I live in Seattle and I don't have desert space. So I'm going to think about my place in the world, where our classroom is located, and what kinds of things we have going on in that little niche of our world. So how can we start doing this in our classroom? The first thing I would say is check out Natural Start Alliance website. They have so many amazing blog posts, so many amazing resources right on there, including this book. I highly recommend this book. It is honestly a game changer for me. I know that I've been teaching for 8 years, but honestly, I go to this book several times to just check in with myself and see what kind of teaching I'm doing and what I want to cultivate in my space and how I can show up for children differently. I also have a couple of other books I want to show you. The other book I have is Lens on Outdoor Learning, and honestly, this is another book that I go back to all the time to just look and read and reflect on my own teaching practices. So I love this book. If you're just starting out in nature preschools, I would highly recommend this book. This just walks you through different things and gives you ways that you can have an outdoor successful program and just planning an outdoor preschool. This is a great book for that. And then the other one that I just really dig, and again, one that I find myself looking at often, is Nature and Young Children, and I love this book. So these are just some of the books that I would recommend when you're starting out in this field, or if you are a experienced teacher. These books, honestly, I look at all the time. When we think about the outdoor classroom, we think about three main things that go hand in hand together. We can't have one without the other. So the natural world, or the environment that your classroom is located, plays a huge part in your curriculum. The child and what they're interested in learning about plays another big part. And us, where we can support and scaffold learning for the children in the natural world. We're listening to what the children are interested in, and we're thinking about what the natural world is doing during each season of our time together. So instead of a learning space that a teacher is directing the learning, where we're standing in front of the class and telling them what we're going to learn about that day, and it's not really hands-on, in a nature-based preschool, it's very hands-on learning. It's very much child-led and child-centered and emergent curriculum. So let's break down a little bit about what those each are. So with a child-led learning, we're watching and observing what children are interested in. So we're listening to what they're talking about with their peers. We're listening to what they're talking about on the trails, and really focusing on that kind of things and thinking about what the questions they have. With emergent curriculum, we're really thinking about the natural world and what's happening in nature. So we're going to follow the child's lead and really immerse ourselves in whatever they're interested in learning about. So for me right now, the students that I'm caring for are really interested in bugs and life under logs. And right now in Seattle, we don't have any snow, so we are spending a lot of time rolling logs over and looking underneath them and looking at the life that goes underneath it. What I'm then doing is bringing books into my classroom that piggyback off of that interest. So you'll see books that are like Life Under a Log, or other books that have to do with insects or invertebrates or things that live under the logs. You will also see that some of the activities that I'm offering children are based on insects or bugs or things that live underground, and we're thinking more critically about that. Our conversations are all about that, where we might be speaking about, hey, did you notice that there was this squirmy wormy, and why do you notice, or why do you think that they were moving so fast? So our conversations are around that as well. So that's where we're emerging in that curriculum. We're thinking about it. We're all on the same page on that. Each child is going to have a different interest, obviously. So we want to also scaffold their learning independently on what they're interested in. So our approach is really to think about the curriculum as the child's curriculum. And we're really thinking about what's happening in the natural world and how we can pull from the natural world in order to make our curriculum as vibrant and beautiful as we want. So that's the outside world. That is what we're doing outdoors, is we're spending a lot of time with the children and learning from them and what they're interested in. So what happens in the indoor space? Because many nature preschools have an indoor space available. So we spent most of our time outside, and then we spent limited time indoors. So in an indoor classroom, we're going to mimic what we're learning outside. So you'll see that the discovery table has like bugs and a log and things that children can manipulate and move around. You will see that the books, like I mentioned, there's books in our classroom all centered around what their children are interested in. Our sensory bin, the same way. We might have leaf litter in there and hidden bugs for children to explore and develop. Everything is really focused on what we're learning outside, and our centers are really conducive to that learning and learning through that. And lastly, our tabletop activities are going to be based on the natural world as well. So we're just bringing nature into our classroom. So if you're not able to go out because you're just not able to yet, then I would strongly suggest, if you're interested in bringing nature curriculum into your day or into your life with kids, is start bringing nature in, because that is the first step. Even though nature preschools spend a lot of time outside, we also spend some time inside, and it's really important that whatever we're thinking about outside is happening inside as well. And another big part of being a nature preschool teacher is that we set expectations, we set boundaries, and we help support children in following those expectations and boundaries. We're not here to just let children do whatever they want in our classroom. We obviously have expectations that we follow, and we have rules in our classroom. Children are involved in making those rules oftentimes, but they don't always have to be. Like in my classroom, we have an expectation that big sticks belong in big places and small sticks belong in small places. Tools point down. We use walking feet if we're carrying a huge long stick and there's a lot of people around. So there's a lot of different things that we set as expectations that we follow in our outdoor classroom. And in our indoor classroom, that's the same. There are still going to be guidelines and boundaries that we have. Having boundaries is healthy for children, and knowing where those boundaries are is very important for them to know in our classroom. That's where you run into a lot of problems if you don't have boundaries or if you don't share those expectations with children. So hold on to your why and your passion for taking children outdoors. This will get you very, very far in this field and really make you know who you are and shine your light even brighter. If you're ever wondering or ever needing any extra support, know that I am here. I offer consultations. I'm going to be opening up an ebook and an e-course down the line, so that's something that you can learn from me even more, and we can help support you in any way that you need. I really enjoy talking to you all. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you aren't already, please subscribe. And I make videos every Tuesday and Friday, so we're here all the time hanging out. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Sending you so much light and gratitude for being here. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to answer those. Bye.